stamping friends, this is Sandra with Krafty Kreations with Sandra. I'm coming to you this morning. It's Tuesday morning. Not a regularly scheduled class day, but I was trying to do the Monday promotions and yesterday was a holiday. So I skipped the Monday promotion. So I guess today's Tuesday promotion. I had told you that I was going to offer a 3-card card kit for free for any $35 order during the week. And so this is this week's promotion. We're going to be using the Peaceful Deer stamp set and the coordinating die. These are in the new mini catalog, in the holiday mini catalog. If I had a copy of it, I would show it to you. But I have filed it somewhere where I don't see it. Okay, la canción. Okay, well, it's in the mini catalog. And I want to tell you it's something like $31.50 or $30-something. Very low 30s. I don't know where I left my catalog. Anyway, if I spot it in the next few minutes, I'll show it to you. Oh, here it is. It's just filed where I didn't see it. So I just wanted to give you the price. The punch is pretty neat. It's really easy to line up. It's $36. So the punch and the stamp set are $36. Okay. So that would qualify you for the 3-card kit. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to be using these 3 inks: Garden Green, Early Espresso, and Crumb Cake. And really, I should have been using Sahara sand because that matches the paper, but I don't own it. I didn't realize I didn't own Sahara sand. Can you believe that? So this is the first card we're gonna make. It's a fun fold and it's a gift card holder. Hi, Mary. So we're gonna make this card. We're going to be using the Deer Peaceful Prints designer series paper that you can get for free. Let me see if I can move up a little bit. Maybe that'll be less close to my hands. So this is the Peaceful Deer paper that you can get free with any $50 order from Sale-a-bration, and it coordinates perfectly with the punch and the stamp set that I just showed you. Isn't that beautiful paper? All right, so let's get started. I've already cut all of my pieces so that it doesn't take forever. And I want to show you how I colored the deer. So I stamped my deer on white, and I hardly ever color because it's, well, you have to have a lot of blends, but I only have cinnamon cider. I don't have crumb cake, I don't have Sahara sand, I don't have any of the browns. This is the only one I have, and I'm gonna make it work. I'm gonna take the dark one, so the dark one, and I'm gonna take the bullet point, and I'm going to outline or color in his legs. It's a little bit hard because the marker's thicker than the leg, but just do the best you can. Okay, so when I get to the section where there's more space, I'm just gonna follow the outline. I'm just gonna follow the outline of the leg, and I'm using the dark, okay? So I'm just gonna follow that outline right here. Just mark the lines, that's all I'm doing. Because this will give it a bit of a shadow. I'm going to color the tail, most of it, color the rump. I'm just outlining it, okay? And in some places I'm going a little thicker. On the ears, I'm just going to do the top. And then on the face, I'm just going to do the top and then the bottom right here. So you see, all I did was outline it with the dark. And now I'm going to take the light, and I'm also going to use the bullet point, and right here it tells you this is the bullet point and this is the brush tip. This is like a brush, so you would get bigger strokes. And then this one is more like a pen, so you get softer strokes. Okay, so now I'm with my bullet tip, I'm just going to fill in the rest of the deer. Now you're going to notice, I'm going to bring this up. You can actually see the lines right there. Can you see those? But if I keep going over it, it'll get blended and it will have a darker shade on the close to the edges. You just have to blend. You just have to go over and over and over, and eventually the color blends. So just go over it. Then on the tail I have a little bit. If you can still see the lines, you just have to go back and do it again. You shouldn't see the straight line. You'll see a shadow, but not like a line, okay? You're just gonna see a little bit of shading. So there you could see it's a little darker, and it's not that well blended because I'm using the same color. But I wanted to show you that it doesn't matter if you don't have every single color under the rainbow. I just had these two, and my deer looks fine. Actually, I think it looks pretty good. Then I'm going to line it up. And you're gonna see this is really easy to line up. So I'm just gonna twist the paper, turn the paper until I see a somewhat even border all the way on all of the limbs and the ears and the tail. So there it is. And I'm just gonna punch. And there's my little deer. You also get some antlers if you want to make a reindeer in the punch. I didn't punch them out very well, but you get some little antlers. Okay, so there's our deer. I wanted to show you. I've already colored the other ones that I'm going to use in today's cards. So let's get started with this one. I have a piece of real red, and it was 11 by 4 1/4. But then I cut off 2 1/2. Hey, let's see, hold on. That's 9. I cut off 2 inches. I cut off 2 inches and I scored it at 5 1/2. So cut off 2 inches, okay? And you don't need that piece at all. You just save it for something else. And I scored it at 5 1/2. So my card is a little short on the front, right? Then I have a piece of basic white that is 4 by 5 1/4, and that's gonna go right here on the inside. But I want to stamp it before there is this. These are the sentiments. Sending love and peace this season, wishing you a wonderful year in friendship, dear. It's the best time of year from all of us. Merry Christmas and let's celebrate. So I'm going to use sending love and peace this season. And I'm going to use the early espresso. And I want to stamp it before I glue it in case I goof and I have to do it over. Okay? So let me show you something I just recently acquired, and it's this little pad of paper, and it's for the Stamparatus, but it's also good for stamping on it. And it's not as big as those big gigantic sheets that I usually use. Okay, so my brown needs to be re-inked, so let me just practice here. Actually, I don't need to practice, I can see. Right, straight right there. Hold it for a few seconds. And there's my stamped sentiment. Now I can take it and I can put it on the inside of my card. I'm going to use liquid glue. I found this is actually my favorite glue, but I am finding that the seal is really good in some cases. So I have my seal handy in case I think that's a better use. Okay, then I have a piece of designer series paper, and this measures 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, and it's gonna go down here. Hi, Julia. 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, but before I attach it, I'm going to take my 1-inch circle punch and I'm going to punch out a little wedge right there, a little notch. Then I'm going to put glue on the 3 sides. That will make the pocket, not the top, just the two sides on the bottom. Don't put a lot, and put it real close to the edge so that you can just line it up. And you want to pick it up and make sure that it's right on the edge. So there's my pocket, and I always tell you, you should put a card in there when you're creating your card so that you can have a little bit of space for it before it dries, okay? So there's my card. It doesn't matter if this little notch shows, because I have the largest of the Stitch So Sweetly dies. Remember these that we keep using over and over and over? Okay. So I'm gonna put that there. Then I have a piece that is 2 5/8 by 3 7/8. 2 5/8 by 3 7/8, and that piece is gonna go right in the center here, and you can see the little stitching. You can still see the stitching. So I'm gonna glue that on there. This paper is so pretty, isn't it? It's so festive. Okay, let's just work with this. Then I die cut a star, and I'm trying to find the dies. That's what I was trying to do. From this stamp set, the coordinating dies to tidings and trimmings, and this is the largest of the stars in that die set. So I'm going to use dimensionals to put the star on. I could probably just use 3, but I don't want it to droop. So I'm putting 1 on each of the star points and then 1 in the center. And I'm going to lay it like this. Then I have a piece of Sahara sand that is 1/2 inch. It's about 3 inches long. And I'm going to stamp the Merry Christmas. That's from that same stamp set the deer stamp set. So we're going to stamp Merry Christmas. And I need to bring it close to me so that I can see what I'm doing. Oh, pretty good. Okay, now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim it just a little bit so that I have even ends on each side. I just want the same amount of space from here to here and from here to here. And then I'm going to use my pick up punch banner. I never remember what it's called. Pick a banner punch. I'm gonna do both ends. And it has a space for 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, and 1 inch. So you just slide it all the way in. And then when you see right there, it's even. And you just punch, and there you have a little banner. And then I have a piece of me find my piece of glimmer paper. Where's my glimmer paper? Hold on. See, I even lost my deer. What did I do with my deer? Here's my deer. And my glimmer paper is right here. I just need a 3/4 inch piece. Let me see. Actually, it's a 1/2 inch. Because what I did is I actually trimmed the top and the bottom of this part right here. You can use your paper trimmer if you want, or you could just cut straight across. It's harder to do this if you do it after. I'm just gonna straighten out that banner. That's a little lopsided now. And now when I put it here, you're gonna see the glimmer paper on both sides, on top and the bottom and on the sides. I'm gonna trim it a little bit, and then I'm gonna put it through the banner punch again. Squeeze it in there, do one side and then do the other side. So there's my glimmer paper, and I'm going to use mini dimensionals. I don't know why I always put them over there when I have to reach over for them. And I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool to put dimensionals on the back of this piece. I find it easier to pick them up with either my Take Your Pick tool or my piercing tool. Okay, then I'm going to take the backs off. And I'm going to place this in the center of my little glimmer paper. And this glimmer paper is another one of the options that you get free with a $50 celebration order, with a $50 order during celebration. Okay, there's my Merry Christmas. I'm gonna put my deer on with dimensionals. He's gonna go there, and my banner is gonna go, oh, my banner's much bigger. Let me trim it a little bit. This happened because I didn't have it ready and I didn't have it the right length. But you can always trim. This is real life. This is how it goes. Let me trim off a little bit on this side too. It's a little bit long. So my banner is going to go here. My reindeer is going to go there. So the reason I'm showing you this is because I need to know where to put dimensionals. I don't want to put dimensionals where it's going to be hanging over. So at this time, I think it's a good time to put it on my card so I know my space that I have available. And I believe I just glued it. So I'm going to glue from here up. I'm just going to use my finger to keep track of this scallop right here. And then I'm going to just add glue. And I'm adding a lot of glue because it's going to be pulled up and down to open and close. I'm just centering that on the front. Okay, then I'm going to take my Merry Christmas and I'm going to lay it. Actually, I'm going to take my deer first. I'm going to put some dimensionals on it. And I know the body is not going to be hanging over, so I'm going to put dimensionals on the body. think that should be enough. If you want to put dimensionals on the legs, which I would do if I wasn't trying to finish, you can take and cut little tiny strips from the edges of your dimensional sheet. All right, so I'm going to put him right here. And then I'm going to add my sentiment right across here. Now look, this star has dimensionals. So I'm gonna put dimensionals on this part, but not on this part. I'm gonna put glue here and a couple of dimensionals here. So I think I could use the bigger ones. I'm gonna put 2 of the bigger ones right here. And I'm gonna put a little bit of glue right here. And if you didn't want to make a Christmas card, this is an awesome layout for any kind of card that you want to do a gift card holder for. It doesn't have to be a Christmas card, but look at how cute that is. Okay, and now the last part is we're going to add a bow. And this is also in the mini catalog. It's the shimmer ribbon. It's this beautiful gold. And we're just gonna make a small bow. Oops. Try that one more time. Now look, I usually used to go like this towards the front, but I found that if I go towards the back and then feed my ribbon through here, it's actually easier to make the bow, and then both of my tails are pointing down. Did you see what I did? I'm holding it, and then instead of going like this, I'm going back towards the back. Then I just fold this and feed it through, look. And then when my bow is done, both of my tails are pointing in the same direction. Do you see this? They're both going in the same direction. I'm trying to make it small. Look at what a pretty bow that is. And all I did was go backwards instead of forwards when I'm creating the bow. I also recently learned to cut the tails up. And I like how that looks. So our bow is gonna go right here with a couple of dimensionals. Excuse me, with a couple of glue dots. I don't know what happens when you turn on the camera, you forget how to talk. You forget your vocabulary words here. So I'm gonna put the bow right there. And voila, there is our little Christmas card. Gift card holder. Isn't that a cutie? You like it? Okay, so we're going to now do card number 2. And card number 2 is non-traditional. We're gonna use Sahara sand. Let me clean off my space here a little bit. We're gonna use Sahara sand, and we're gonna do the deer. Once again, I already colored mine, but if you wanted to, you could punch out the deer. I'm looking for a, you could punch out the deer from your paper. If that's what you chose to do, you could just line it up and punch it out right here. You see that? As soon as I line it up. There's a pretty awesome little deer that I just punched out of the paper. But I chose to color mine, so we're using the colored ones. Okay? I wanted to be sure you knew that. So let's, hold on, give me a second. Let me get rid of all this trash. I've told you how I have a really big bag. It's like 2 feet wide and like 2.5 feet tall. It's one of those shopping bags they sell everywhere. They sell them at Michael's. And I I empty it about once a week because it gets full with so much trash that I create. All right, so we're gonna use 3 little strips. They're 3/4 inches. And I have my measurements right here. Hold on. I have my measurements right here so I don't have to measure and I can just tell you. So my Sahara sand card base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then I have another piece of Sahara sand that is 4 by 5 1/4. And I already ran it through the textile something embossing folder. I already ran it through. I already did my deer. And I have a piece for the inside that is also 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have 3 strips. And I'm using this paper. Oh, that's not true. I'm using the same paper. The same paper, that the deer paper. It's right here. And the glimmer paper. And these are 3/4 inch by 3 3/4. So there's 2 in the DSP and 1 in the glimmer paper. Then I have a circle from the layering circles, and it's about 2 3/4. It's about 2 3/4. Okay, so let's first start by folding our card. And then we're going to banner cut to these 3. And I'm going to use the punch once again. Just going to line it up in there. And I'm only going to do one side. And these are 3/4 inch. Remember I told you it has 3 slots. It has a slot for 1/2 inch, a slot for 3/4 inch, and then a slot for 1 inch. So I'm going to banner cut that one, and then banner cut this one. I'm just sliding it in. All right, there I have my 3 pieces. And now I'm going to glue them onto my embossed piece. I'm going to start about 1/4 inch up, maybe a little higher. So right here I started about 1/4 inch, but I think there's a lot of space up here, so I think I'm going to move them up a little bit. Maybe 1/3 inch. And this is one place where I think you can really use the seal. So I'm just going to run, and I'm about to run out, so I think I may run out before we finish the card. So I'm going to do the first piece, a little less than 1/2 inch. Then I'm going to do about 1/4 inch between each piece. Okay, I'm just going to add my seal. I think I just ran out. I can tell because it's already looking red right there. Okay, so now I'm going to take my glimmer piece and I'm going to place it right about 1/8 inch above that one, and then this one about 1/8 inch above that one. So there's my base. Then I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to tie it around. And I'm going to make a bow. So I'm guesstimating that's how much I need. I hope I didn't cut it too short or too long. Once again, I'm going to make I'm going to show you again. I'm going to make my first knot. I'm gonna make my loop, and then I'm gonna come from behind towards the front. Slip it through. That should work. It shouldn't come to the front. It should be in the back there. You know, I recently saw somebody use some reverse tweezers that holds the ribbon for them, and I really like them, so I'm gonna find some. Let me try that again. Come from behind. There's my bow. I'm just pulling the tail so that I can tighten it. I'm pulling the tails a little more. Now I can just slide it over to the top. And arrange it, and then I'm going to trim it. I'm going to trim up on the tail. I took my snips to my room because I was working on something and I didn't bring them back. Okay, now this will go on the front of our card, and I guess you could, if you wanted to, reverse it and do it like this. Except you'd have to put these down here if you wanted to come from this side. I just thought this was a little different. There's always looking for ways to make something slightly different, but using the same ideas over and over. So I'm gonna put lots of dimensionals so it doesn't sag. I think that's enough. So you already know I'm going to ask you which is your favorite when we finish, right? So be sure to let me know in case I forget to ask you. So what did you guys do this holiday weekend? I did absolutely nothing. Oh, that's not true. I went to the movies yesterday. But before that, I didn't do much. All right, here's my card. Now I'm going to take my circle, and I'm going to take the stars. And this is where I'm going to use the crumb cake instead of the Sahara sand that I normally would have used. I can't believe I don't have that ink. I see. I'm supposed to have them all. Okay. I'm going to take the little stars, and I'm going to stamp off and then stamp on. Stamp off because crumb cake is too dark. I'm just going to fill the little circle. You can turn it as you go. I think that's enough. I've filled it, and now I'm going to be using the same sentiment, sending love and peace this holiday season. What did I do with my brown ink? I always move things and then I can't find them. It has to be here. I just used it. What's back here? So I'm going to stamp it kind of on the top right here. I always find that if you hold it just a second, but don't press so hard, the ink has a chance to transfer more evenly. So now I'm going to take my card and I'm going to put the circle on with dimensionals. So I'm going to put a couple dimensionals here and here. I'm going to try to avoid this little line right here. So I'm going to do two here, then I'm going to skip a space for the ribbon so that I won't have a lopsided circle. Then I'm going to take those off, and you can use take your pick tool if you like. I kind of like using my nail. I'm going to place that right here. I need to look at it straight. I'm trying to get my sentiment to be straight. There we go. It's not that straight. There we go. Then I'm going to take my deer. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to, oh, you know what? I forgot to put the little gems on the other card. We'll do that in a second. So once again, dimensionals on the back. Maybe I'm not going to put so many this time. So I always tell you when there's stamp sets that have perennial themes, so reindeer are never going to go out of season for Christmas. There's the reindeer. And the reason I remembered the little red rhinestones is because you can put one on his nose. And there is our card. And now we just have to do the inside. And for the inside, what I did is I stamped the sentiment, and then I stamped one of the deer from the, it says, "Oh, what fun," with crumb cake. I'm going to stamp that deer, which is a different deer here. It's got that writing on it. I'm just going to stamp him here. Kind of a fun little detail. And then I'm going to take my little espresso. I've been re-inking my stamp sets, and my gosh, I re-inked the Flurry Flamingo yesterday, and oh my gosh, I put too much. It was a mess. I already did this one. I'm going to use the Wishing You, it's so small I can't read it. Wishing you a wonderful year and friendships dear. That's kind of cute. So, wishing you a wonderful year and friendships dear. That's my inside. And I just have to glue that on. And my second card will be done. So remember, if you order anything, $35, anything you want, it doesn't have to be the deer set. I will send you all of the pieces to make this card. Obviously, if you order the deer set, then you will be able to stamp the deers. And on my first card, I forgot to add the rhinestones, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm following my own advice of cutting my sheets sideways. So I think I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to put a couple here. And I'm going a little wild with these. I usually just put 3. But I thought maybe it needed a little bit of sparkle. It gets lost on the red, so I'm going to move this one over a little bit to keep it on the Sahara sand. And there, isn't that cute? Card number 1, card number 2. Then I have one more, excuse me, I have one more card. Move this over here. Get rid of my trash. fill up my gigantic bag. And this is card number 3. This is a little more simple. But look at how cute those trees coordinate with the trees in the stamp set. It's got all these little trees that you can use. And this is where we're going to use garden green. So let me get my instructions. I'm going to put my card right here. Let me get my pieces. Okay, so now we have a piece of garden green, 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. Then I have a piece of Sahara sand, that's 4 by 5 1/4. That's going to be on the card front. Then I have a piece of designer series paper, which is from that same pack, and this measures 3 3/4 by 5, and that's going to go here. Then once again, I have another piece of designer series paper, 1.5 by 5. That's going to go here. And then I have 2 strips of black that are 1/2 inch, and they're going to go there obviously on the bottom. Then I have 2 of the Stitch So Sweetly dies, the biggest one and the next biggest one. This is real red and this is white, and I've already die cut those. So if you don't have that Stitch So Sweetly, you really need to get it. It's wonderful. We keep using it over and over. I already did my deer. I have my little strip for, well, I have my little strip for my Merry Christmas, but I already stamped it. It's right here. And then I have 3/4 by 4 of glimmer paper. And it's a little long, so I'm gonna just cut it off right here. Should be 3/4 by 4. There, 3/4 by 4. And then for the inside, I have a piece of 5 1/4 by 4. Okay? So let's start by gluing the side. Well, start by folding our card. Fold and burnish all the time. Okay? Then I'm going to adhere the Sahara sand. Out to the front of my card. Then I'm going to adhere, I'm not going to adhere this yet. I'm going to do this piece first. Okay? I'm going to get rid of all my fuzzies here with my fingers, push them back. I'm going to put a little bit of glue here, and then I'm going to take my black and have about half of it show. Line it up so I can get it straight. And then I'm going to do the other side exactly the same way. Put a little bit of glue here. Am I off camera? No. Am I on here? Then I'm going to put it right on, showing about half. And they are a bit long, so I'm going to trim them. And then this piece will go on here. And we want to glue it first so that we can line it up really well. And all these fuzzes are really bothering me. Just push them back with take your pick tool. Look, if you just go like this, it'll push them in. Right, so now I'm going to put glue all around here. Put this about 1/2 inch from the left side. I always pick it up so that I can see if it looks straight to me. Okay, there is my piece right here. Now we can glue it onto the card. This is a lot simpler, I think. Because once you cut your pieces, well, I guess that's what all cards are, right? You cut the pieces and then it's simple. My black piece is not on straight. I'm just gonna have to live with it. It's not on straight down here. I might just tear it if I do anything to it. All right, so we're gonna take this white piece, this white label. We're gonna stamp on it. I'm gonna take the garden green ink, and I'm gonna take the little trees, the one that has 3 trees, and I'm going to stamp it kind of in the center right here. Then I'm gonna take the smaller trees, the one that has 2, and I'm gonna stamp them right towards the back and then over here. Just give it a little bit of a background, right? And then on my inside, I also stamped some trees. And this time what I did is I stamped the trees full strength. And then I did a second generation. And then I did the same thing with the little trees. I did the little trees, and then I did that. So those look like they're way in the back, like they're behind. That just gives the illusion. Okay, so now I'm gonna take my label. I'm going to glue my white label on it. And if you get the kit, you'll get everything already die cut. You just need the stamps to stamp your cards. Okay, now I'm gonna banner cut these 2 ends. One more time. How easy this is, huh? With this punch. I did it in the wrong order. Problem solved. I'm gonna put this here. I'm gonna put that right there. Then I'm gonna put this across. In the center, and then I'm going to glue this one. I'm just going to add more glue. Then I'm going to center that one right here. Okay, now I'm gonna do the same thing with my sentiment. I'm gonna put the deer right here and the sentiment right here, and I'm gonna trim it once again. And I have this little box trimmer that's from Creative Memories. Haha, contraband. Well, Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell it, so I would tell you to buy it, but they don't sell it. Okay, so I'm gonna cut it as close as I can. I did the other one by hand, so you know it can be done. Okay, here's my little piece. I went to a scrapbooking party once, and I want to tell you it's about 20 years ago. And I got this, and then it has a drawer. That's a drawer somewhere here. Yeah. And there used to be a pair of scissors in here. So that was my first purchase relating to scrapbooking. And it was 20 years ago. And the reason I know it was 20 years ago, because the lady who invited me had a baby, and the baby is 20 years old now. So I can't forget. I just have to figure out how old Lucio is, and then I can remember. Or figure out how long ago that was. I'm banner cutting. One more time. And this time, look, it's skinnier than a ½ inch. So when I get in there with my finger, I just have to center it. So it looks even, because it's gonna come out wherever it wants, because it's so skinny. So when I center it, I put it in the center with an even bit on each side. And there's my little banner cuts. Okay, so now I'm going to use dimensionals for the deer and for the sentiment. And I'm going to leave the latter part, the tail of the sentiment without any, because it's going to hang over right here, I think. And then my deer. Oh dear, what can the matter be? Remember that song? I don't know why I thought of it. So almost done with the third card. I'm going to let him. I don't know why I think of them as hymns instead of hers. Maybe because in Spanish it's venado. And I'm going to put it right there. And I'm going to take my little jewels, my little red rhinestones. And once again, I'm going to be a little liberal. Oh, let's do the bow first. One more time so you can see how I make the bow. Make your loop. Bring it back. Just fold it over and it comes out over right away. And then you can manipulate your bow. Tighten it. And both of your ends will be towards the bottom. Practice with some old ribbon. Isn't this pretty? And even though the glimmer paper isn't gold, I don't think it crashes. I think it allows each piece to shimmer on its own. This is going to go here. And I needed to know that before I put the rhinestones, so that I know where to put the rhinestones. So I always like to put 2 glue dots on my bows. Did I get 2 glue dots on there? Yes, I did. And then I have a stamping friend who likes to put a dot of glue on each side. I hardly ever remember to do that, but that way, if the glue dot fails, the glue will stick. And the glue dot will make it stay until the glue dries. It makes a lot of sense. Now I'm going to put my rhinestones. And I'm going to put 2 right here. They kind of look pretty in 2s. And I'm going to put 2 right here. Then I'm just going to put 1 here. Isn't that cute? Okay, and then all we have to do is attach our inside panel. And you don't have to stamp a sentiment if you don't want to. You can just write. Or you could stamp another Christmas sentiment in there. So there's our third card. Which one is your favorite? Let me know. 1, 2, or 3. Oh, 1, 2, and 3. Aren't they cuties? Remember, you can get this paper for free. You can get this paper for free. And this set with the stamp set is only $36. I will post the host code that you need to use if you want to place an order, or you can just email me or text me. This promotion will run until Sunday. With a $35 order, you get the kits for these 3 cards. Okay? And I'm going to be doing that every Monday, except today was Tuesday. And I also am going to be doing it in the morning because I have free time in the morning. And the afternoon is getting a little hard for me. But I will post the stuff for tomorrow's class. I haven't done that, but I will. And I'll see you tomorrow afternoon. All are so unique. I like them all. You like them all? I like them all too, but if I had to choose one, I would choose this one. Maybe because it's a gift card holder. And maybe because the gold pops off the red so much. But they're also pretty. I think this makes a big difference in how much they sparkle and glimmer, don't you? All right, well, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.